Welcome to MMAPlay365. I'm Newsome and I'm here to give you the Baze AI recap from our UFC prediction software from last weekend's event at UFC Vegas. Now, across the board with the straight pick accuracy, the AI hit 80%. So again, it's back. You know, last week was great. In the last, I think it's 9-10 weeks, we've only had 2 straight pick prediction percentages that are under 60%. Outside of that, we've had 67%, we've had a couple of 80%, we've had 100%, we've had a few 77% as well. So the AI is just absolutely flying. And if you do want to see the full results from this year, we're transparent with everything. Go onto the MMAPlay365 website and you'll see 2 pages from the Baze AI results from the first half of this year, and now we're on to the second half of the year. So you'll see the full predictions there from the entire year. But it was that near 3 months ago when we just tweaked the algorithms, and since then the AI has just absolutely took off and flying. But into the recap from last weekend, we're going to start with the value section. Mohammed Usman versus Zach Pauga. Now, Zach Pauga was actually predicted by the AI to win the fight, so it was an incorrect prediction. However, Zach Pauga was like a near 3-1 favorite. You could have got Usman at plus 235. I personally bet Mohammed Usman here at plus 235. So the fact that the odds said that Pauga should have been a huge favorite, the AI actually had Usman to win at 49%. So although it was an incorrect prediction, it had Usman as a near coin flip. So that just tells you that, again, looking at that, if you're using the AI to bet on fights, then you can see that the AI saying Usman should be 49%. 49% odds implied is plus 104. So the AI saying that Usman should be plus 104 on the betting line, but you're actually getting Usman at plus 240. So insane value there, tremendous value, a lot of value. But you can even take that a little bit further as well. Usman to win by KO TKO. The AI actually had this as the method of victory highest for Mohammed Usman at 22%. Odds implied, that's plus 355. You could have had Usman to win via knockout at plus 600. So a lot of value there. Of course, he did win by knockout. So that value spot from Mohammed Usman versus Zach Pauga, even though it wasn't a correct prediction, was still absolutely spot on from Baze AI. And in the next fight to talk about, in the solid winners section, we've got Bryan Battle versus Takashi Sato. Now, there wasn't too much value in the money line from Bryan Battle. AI had him to win at 59%. A lot of people were backing Sato, though, as an underdog. So the fact that the AI was relatively confident that Sato would win is definitely a good sign. But that does mean the odds implied were at minus 144. Bryan Battle, depending on if you did bet him and when you bet him, he was minus 220, went up to minus 300, so there wasn't any value in that money line, like I've already said. However, where you do get a little bit of value is Bryan Battle to win inside the distance. You add the knockout and the submission percentage together, you get 44%, which odds implied is plus 127. And for Bryan Battle to win inside the distance at the bookies, you could have got plus 200. So that's where your value was in that fight. Again, like I say this all the time with Baze AI, when you're looking through the results, through the predictions and where you're focusing on, just make sure that you dig deep into the methods of victory, into the rounds and the methods of victory as well, knockout method of victory. Just make sure you're digging into everything and then comparing it to the betting lines as well, because like I say, Bryan Battle versus Sato is a great example of where there wasn't any value on the money line, but there was a lot of value on the inside the distance prop as well. And that's obviously where you would have cashed and got value at the same time as well. So make sure you are digging deeper when you're looking at the predictions week in, week out. But another solid winner, Mayra Bueno Silva versus Stephanie Egger. Mayra Bueno Silva was actually the dog of the week for Baze AI this weekend. So for Silva to win, Baze AI said she was at 55%. Now, that's odds implied minus 122. If you'd have waited till the second half of the week, you would have got Mayra Bueno Silva as an underdog. The line did flip. Egger turned into the favorite. Silva was around plus 110, plus 120, depending on, again, what time you bet her, but at 55%, minus 122, and you're getting plus money on that. That's where your value was. That was the dog of the week from Baze AI, which, by the way, is only $1.99, and you also get the handicapper, which is myself. You get my dog of the week included in that as well. And then to make things even better, if both underdogs lose, we'll give you your money back anyway. So make sure you're checking that out. But then taking it a little bit further with Silva to win inside the distance, which of course she did, 32%. That's the knockout and the submission added together. odds implied plus 213. You could have got Mayra Bueno Silva to win inside the distance at plus 350. So a ton of value there. And then even if you wanted to take it a little bit further, and this is where it gets special, Silva to win via submission, 28%. That's plus 257 odds implied, and you would have got plus 600 on the betting line. So again, whether you wanted Silva playing straight, whether you wanted her inside the distance, or whether you wanted to be cheeky and go direct for the submission, all three had value with Bayes AI. All three would have come in, and that's cashed tickets. The next solid winner, Geoff Neal versus Vicente Luque. Now, Geoff Neal was my dog of the week last weekend. Again, like I said, you get the handicapper dog of the week, you get the Bayes AI dog of the week in one package for $1.99, and if they both lose, you get your money back. So Geoff Neal to win at 51%. So it was a near coin flip. However, that is odds implied at minus 104, and you could have got Geoff Neal at plus 155, plus 170. So a ton of value there. I thought that line was massively off. There was a lot of value from my perspective, and also Bayes AI, again, it's saying that Neal should have been a very slight favourite opposed to a moderate underdog. And even if you wanted to go a little bit further here, inside the distance, for Geoff Neal to win inside the distance, knockout or submission, 36%, odds implied plus 178, and you're getting plus 400 on the betting line. And of course, he did finish him. He nearly finished him in round one. It looked like he took round two off, to be fair, and then round three, he did finish Luque, and he was the first one to finish Luque as well. But the power that Geoff Neal has, it's not a surprise that he was the first man to finish Luque. And like I said, there was value from Bayes AI. There was value when you're comparing Bayes AI to the betting line as well. So again, from that perspective, just absolutely great. Now, normally we'd jump onto a surprise winners section, but there wasn't really any surprise winners. That section is normally me thinking Bayes AI is massively off there, and then Bayes AI, proving me wrong. There wasn't any of that last week. And then we also have a bad losses section as well, but again, it hit 80% over 10 fights overall, so only 2 lost. And to be honest with you, there wasn't any bad losses there. I think, some of them were close fights and expected. So the bad losses section is written off again this week, which is always a good sign. Every now and again we will have some bad losses to talk about, but when we don't have bad losses to talk about, then it's, it just shows that we've had another great week. As always, Bayes AI is flying. I can't wait to see what it comes out with for next weekend at UFC San Diego. Make sure you check out that recap again in this playlist on this YouTube channel, this time next week. I'm Newsome. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next week.